What are those?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of our weekly Sorare MLB. Pretty soon, not MLB, but we'll get there. And all things Sorare podcast. We are batting practice, of course. Andrew started recording, and I was definitely not prepared. So that was a very interesting introduction. But Orioles, what are you doing? Braves, what are you doing? What is you doing, baby? As my good friend Trevor Plouffe says. We're gonna talk baseball playoffs coming up here. We're gonna talk Sorare MLB, of course, and how the playoffs are going, and then maybe a little NBA hoops action going on.
Hi-oh.
We'll see. But before we get into all of that madness, boys, how are we feeling this Monday evening?
We're feeling, dude.
Bills,
I put it
baby.
on last week and it's back.
They are fighting, that's for sure.
We all know the fate of the wild card round teams, which we'll talk about in a bit. But last week did feature a little bit of the Phillies hat. It's back out. Kyle Schwarber's hitting bloop singles.
Oh yeah, that's
For
not a
right
bloop.
field.
That was a bullet, man.
For
That's a
Schwarber, anything
bullet.
under 80, anything under 80
He broke
off
his
the bat.
bat. He broke his bat.
Anything under 80 miles an hour off the exit view, that was a blooper for him. Because
Fair.
he
I'll give you
usually
that.
hits it over 100.
Give you that.
Did he break? Oh yeah, that thing snapped.
Yeah.
Rip.
You could see little piece fly off.
You will catch it next year in Allen and Ginter 2024 bat cards.
Oh, there you go.
But we're doing all right here. The Phillies are up 4-0. Again, my hat is back. Even though I put it on with my Brewers jersey last week, it's back with plain green sweatshirt because I still, as you see below me, well, I don't know. I still don't remember how it uploads, who uploads where. But on my screen, Nosh, below me, you got a different jersey on too. It's not a Sorare sport even. I kind of got the color going, but not
American football.
Heyo.
For those who don't follow, the Wisconsin team is Green Bay Packers, and they play tonight. Hence why I'm wearing their jersey.
And the Brewers are not in the postseason anymore.
Correct.
Josh and I got to witness that.
Yeah. How was that? Let's score aside. How was the game? I mean, well, score aside. What like the experience? Did you eat some food, drink some beer, talk to some people? I assume, I don't even know because I was pretty busy the last week with an event on Saturday. But so I assume you guys went with your fiance/wife. Yes.
Actually, Michaela couldn't come.
So
if you mean my mother,
really?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. I'm not marrying my mother for the
record. Okay, that's rip. Because I was gonna say, well, that's still fun, but it wasn't because they got they didn't get destroyed, but it wasn't really a close game. You know what I mean?
It had its moments.
Yeah.
It was still very enjoyable.
It was close in score, but it just never really felt like anything was happening.
Yeah, that's fair.
They put up like 15 hits and everyone got stranded. I think it was something crazy like that, but whatever. Yeah, how was it? What'd you guys do? Without spoiling too much, I guess.
Well, I mean, I think one of the big things for me, I love to get to games early, especially postseason, just kind of getting to take it all in. There was my first Brewer home game of the season. I've been to 4 already, all on the road. So it's always make a special effort to go and explore the stadium a little bit. I feel like one cool thing about American sports stadiums is there's just so much that goes into the actual facility. Like when I was, fortunate enough to explore some of the, European stadiums, it's so much more focused on the game, and there really aren't gimmicks or things that are in stadiums to honestly provide some alternative source of entertainment. Whereas, like, I feel like in American sports, people kind of go for a variety of different reasons. And one of those is maybe to watch the actual game.
Taylor Swift!
Yeah. That's another one.
Our bi-weekly mention of Taylor Swift on the podcast.
People have been going to the games because of Taylor Swift, though. Like, in masses, too.
That is true.
But anyways, continue.
Yeah, there was no chance Taylor was showing up for the Brewers game, even though our Christian
Let's
Yelich
make-
bachelor
yeah.
proposal. Maybe not. Maybe it was heard. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? We know John from Sorare listens to us, so maybe fellow New Yorker Taylor Swift also does as well.
New Yorker.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a
But
worldie.
anywho,
She's a
just
worldie.
it's
she's
it's.
not a New Yorker.
I mean, her primary residence is New York.
Oh,
Sure.
probably.
Yeah.
It's about to be Kansas City, though. Am I right?
Oh, maybe.
Ah.
But yeah, if you any kind of life tip, if you ever have a chance to go to a pro sports game, always get there early. Go chat around the stadium. Especially baseball and minor league baseball with that. I don't know. There's just always so many like gimmicks and fun things and giveaways that teams do to get people to go to games. So, for example, like it was Wisconsin, which is known for having lots of good beer. There was several different spots where you could get exclusive beers, and those usually have really long lines during the game, as again, no one really watching it. Playoffs are an exception, but it was still just kind of be fun to see the atmosphere. Josh, what did you think? This is obviously not your first Brewer playoff game.
Yeah, I've been like kind of like you, I guess, but not exactly the same. But I've been fortunate enough to go to many different professional sporting events in my life. And I really believe that there's nothing quite like playoff baseball. The atmosphere is just so awesome, and there's 45,000 plus fans all cheering together. So the atmosphere was awesome. I think the fans were very much behind the Brewers, even though the Brewers' output wasn't quite there. But it was still a very enjoyable experience. And I think we got some good videos.
Heyo.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout
Cool.
for sure. Yeah.
But
It's
obviously
crazy to
Brewers,
think we were sitting here less than a week ago
I know.
watching the first game, and it
Well,
feels like they've been out of the playoffs for like years.
Yeah. If you caught the TikTok that I uploaded earlier, or the YouTube short that I uploaded earlier, you'll get the feeling, the vibes that were going on last week. How about from a Sorare perspective? I feel like, I mean, first and foremost, 3-game series, you expect at least one out of 4
Yeah.
to
Oh, you're
go
so behind.
the distance. That was foul. You expect at least 1 out of 4 to go to 3 games. It's not a 7-game series, it's a 3-game series, and they all got swept.
Yeah,
They
it's
all
crazy.
got swept. Like I had relievers that didn't play because like they didn't need to. Starters that didn't play because they didn't need to and are now starting this round.
Right.
So I really didn't win anything. My scores were fine, but they weren't reward worthy because my teams didn't really do much. And I have a variety of players too. Like I don't just have teams that got swept. But man, there weren't even really, I think the Brewers, the game that you guys saw was the closest game of the entire last round.
Yeah.
Every other game was like not great.
Yeah, how many
First
even had like a score or like a lead
Rangers
change?
destroyed the
Okay,
Rays.
I did the
we
math
go. He
out
did
of
it.
pure curiosity from the wild card round.
Joe
All right.
Jimenez, baby.
There's 4 series, and they each went 2 games, so 8 games
Right.
Correct.
total.
Yep.
Yep.
The 4 teams that lost, I believe, put up the Brewers put up 2 and 3 the first. All 3 of the other teams that got swept, I think, put up a total of 4 runs over 2 games. So 3 teams over 2 games put up 4 runs. The Brewers put up 5. So of the 4 teams that got swept, they put up 9 total runs in 2 games, 5 of which
Wow.
from the Brewers.
Except for the Orioles last night.
The Orioles didn't get swept. I'm talking about the wild card round.
Oh,
Just the
okay.
just the wild card round.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Because okay, well, there's a good transition. The Orioles did. They came up against the Rangers.
Yeah,
who
what a
kept
crazy
on
game.
scoring and scored 11. The Orioles scored 8, so I guess they broke that curse. But yeah, talking about the wild card round, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It is. And like the
I mean,
Brewers,
it's not like there's anything you can do about it, but
right. The Brewers are pretty much the only team that like kind of showed up. Like
Mhm.
the Rays looked very much, they looked bad,
Mhm.
like really bad. Blue Jays looked pretty bad. And
Yeah.
then the Marlins looked pretty bad. So the Brewers didn't look great, but
And you
they
well, you
scored
take
some
away
runs.
you take away 2 innings. You take away
Yeah.
1 inning in each of those games. The inning that we were watching here
Hmm.
in the first game, and then the inning where I think they scored, was it 4
They scored
when you
4.
guys were there
Yeah.
Yep.
against Freddie? Yeah.
Hmm.
You take away those 2 innings, those are like good games.
Yeah.
Not saying they're good because the Brewers would be leading, obviously, but decisions would have been different.
Right.
Games would have been tight, so on and so forth. But yeah,
Just crazy.
crazy, like not boring, but just very run of the mill wild card round, I guess you could say.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got another fun fact for you guys.
Oh,
Who do you think was the top scoring player in the first round of the Sorare MLB playoffs?
Who is
Royce
it?
Lewis.
Is it? I was gonna say, is it our boy Royce Lewis, who's now selling for like 150 on Sorare?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's probably
He
not, but he's got to be up there.
is
Is it?
not.
Is it
Is it
Alec Thomas?
It is not.
Is
I
it
will
Corbin
I will
Carroll?
have you guess what is the position that this player is.
Oh, it's a pitcher. Maybe.
Did we have 2 saves?
Is it a pitcher?
I want so rare positions.
Is it a
preferably.
relief pitcher?
It is a
closer.
relief
Yeah.
pitcher.
Is it Paul Sewald?
Yeah, is it Seawald?
It is not Seawald.
Okay.
Oh, is it Johan Duran?
How
Duran.
about that?
Duran,
Ah.
45 points.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, the Twins,
next
man.
highest
Twins
scoring
stack.
player was Evan Carter, who doesn't even have so rare cards
Oh my
for
god.
the Rangers.
Wow.
Then,
I was looking to buy him. I know.
yep.
Who would have thought?
But amazing. Yeah. Who would have thought a relief pitcher again, like what everyone was kind of saying, like these kind of games lead to save opportunities, and both Seawald and Duran saved both games for their teams. Duran had a game week leading 45 points. Seawald with a pretty impressive 40 as well.
Yeah, 2 saves.
40 from a relief pitcher, pretty insane. And again, the whole Diamondbacks relief corps had a very, very good series against the Milwaukee
crazy.
Brewers.
Wow.
Um,
Dude. Man, I'll tell you what, we can jump into our lineups here and to talk about kind of how things are going, but I'll just preface it by saying my lineups are not doing a whole lot. And they didn't do a whole lot for the wild card round.
So I think, are you trying to win on a week to week basis, or are you going for that championship chase? Because that championship chase almost requires more of a level of consistency and having players play rather than like putting up a big tier 1, tier 2 score 1 week and then maybe you have a bunch of Braves, but then hypothetically say they get eliminated and you built up your whole team around that, you'll have 0 team going into the World Series. So that championship chase score will just plummet. So I guess it kind of depends what you're going for.
That's true.
In terms of that sort of thing, when you say my teams are doing nothing, because I would say my teams, like I said earlier, put up respectable scores for what they were given last week. My reliever never got a chance to play.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Yeah,
Well,
I for me this first game week, since Josh and I went to the game and we were kind of making content, I went with a full Brewers stack. Although, a fun fact, I didn't know this until I tried. You cannot do a full stack. You have to have one player from a different team. I think that's kind of silly, honestly, because in football you can do that. I don't really think there's a tremendous advantage to stacking players because, we look time and time again, and the top scores within a game week are rarely same team, same order, 1 through 10. Maybe it's one of those things that they're kind of trying to play big brother and say, hey, it would not be a good decision to play all the same, but I don't know. I'm for baseball stacking. To be honest, if you want to stack your whole team, you probably won't have the best results,
Yeah, honestly.
But having the Brewers as my main stack in limited all-star really set me back after week 1. Thankfully, I put my good cards into my limited pro team. So after 2 weeks, I'm sitting at 114th in limited pro and 484th in limited all-star with a point differential of nearly 8 or 90 points between the two. So
Wow.
the margins are crazy, boys. But I think, again, like we can analyze the past. I think probably what our listeners will want to know is when you look at, after, you'll get this advice after this probably first NL DS and ALDS rounds are over or halfway through. Where do you got to go from here with championship chase and, trying to get that season long reward? And, I think Jacob, you were touching on that earlier, but, I think what I would want to know, and I don't know if there's a way to see this, is, for example, I'm in 484th place, which according to their graph, they're paying out a tier 5 special card to 470 positions. I have no idea how many points I'm out of the money, quote unquote.
Right.
And I don't know if there's a way to see that. But yeah, how are you guys doing in a leaderboard perspective?
Pretty much the same. Nothing like too notable to talk about. Limited, I'm in 530th. Rare Pro 239th.
That sounds familiar because my limited pro is in 512th and rare all stars in 261. So like pretty much the exact same positions.
Mm,
But the rare all star team has its top 200, like Andrew was saying. So only 61 positions, but it's hard to get a gauge how many points that actually is. I can't imagine it's too much. We'll get into looking more at the point totals, but it can't be too much based on what it took to win a reward the last week.
you guys know Jesus Alvarado?
Yeah.
Warms up in the bullpen without a hat on.
Wow.
Did you see that?
No.
That was great. That was hilarious. I wonder if he's always done that or if it's just, it wasn't that hot in Charlotte today. It's probably not that hot. There weren't long sleeves, man. But yeah, I think overall it would be nice to see like I guess like where are you at? Are we gonna like triangulate the scores? Can we use like a bell curve?
Yeah.
And then use our 3 scores and determine like if say scores follow a normal distribution. Nash has this score, Andrew has this score, I have this score, average it. There we go.
Yeah. Or look at like 200,
or maybe
place,
they could just put something
and then just double it. So for example, in this, although it's gonna be interesting with the later rounds, although I think the way they've done it is it's gonna be 3, every round is gonna have the same number of games, I believe. So even though the series are going from 3 to 5 to 7, I think the way that they're structuring it is every round will still be roughly worth the same. So yeah, for example, in limited all-star, I'm in 484th place, which is 14 spots away from a card. Are you guys playing limited all-star or limited pro?
Pro.
Okay. So for all-star, I guess it'd be, let's see.
I'm playing both. I currently
Oh.
still have players to fill both besides I think an outfielder. Which there's another thing. A 6-player team can still function for that championship chase too.
Yeah, especially in the upcoming rounds when it gets down to 4 teams, and then obviously the World Series with 2 teams. Even having a couple players is going to give you points most likely to help for the championship chase.
Okay, so here we go in 400th
Andrew, do you want to pull it
406.
up
Yeah.
so we
Let
can see
me.
some point totals?
Yeah. This is actually some pretty good math, I think.
I always forget that this is in picture, and you probably can't see right now, but I have Bryce Harper right here in the
Hey,
background.
Yes, sir.
so
Home run
this
yesterday or 2 days ago.
what we know from a limited all-star perspective is the payout is through 470th place. Right now I'm in 420th place with 90 points. So if we roughly double that and say, okay, over 2 weeks, if you're averaging 420, just on the cost, that's probably about 180 points, give or take, for a kind of championship chase reward. And for me, that math kind of adds up. This is where I'm sitting currently, and now about 500th place. Maybe someone did struck out. Austin Riley probably.
Yep, he just struck out.
Yep, dropped me a few places.
The
Love
Braves,
that.
baby.
Yeah, so I mean, it sucks. Like, I can't click on this and then just see, like, okay, I want to try to make a push here, but I'm unable to do so. But what I think for a lot of people that aren't whales, even myself, has a relatively big limited gallery, I might have to make a choice within limited all-star or limited pro to say I'm going to go for this in the championship chase, because it would be better for my gallery to try to put all of my eggs in one basket and really try for that one rather than spread myself thin in two places. So that's going to be my approach. I don't know, how are you guys thinking about that?
Oh yeah, for sure. My top tier lineup is running through pro, like Altuve, Kyle Tucker, Corey Seager. They're all smashed right in the middle of that pro lineup. That is pretty mediocre right now. 60. I don't own Alvarez.
Right.
He was it was either him, Seager, or a few other players I was looking at a few months ago. I went with Seager. But yeah, Altuve homered, and like it's doing all right, but that's the lineup I'm prioritizing. And then after the fact, I filled out my all-star lineup with a pretty solid team that I still had left over, minus a player that was a DNP. So that's kind of how I approached it. I didn't try and spread my players across both lineups so I could fill two teams.
Yep.
That's a mistake I would make years and years ago when I was first playing soccer. Was trying to fill multiple teams rather than making your top tier team your priority.
Quantity over quality.
Yep.
So Jacob, I totally agree. And where are you currently in limited pro perspective?
Like probably around top 33%.
Right, but so I mean, I get the whole, like, do you imagine your priority would shift based on how you're doing in limited pro versus, like, because to be honest, like, my score in limited all-star is like I said, in like 90 points less, and I'm still like 17 places away from hitting the money. So if I was to purely go for a reward, it would make more sense to have my heavy hitters in limited all-star. Thankfully my pro team has been doing well so far, but let's say it wasn't, I might decide to switch, which is my priority lineup going forward, just in the hopes of actually getting a reward. So I guess, yeah, question for you, would you ever make that switch?
Maybe. I'm kind of playing still on a week-to-week basis, and pro has better rewards. And not only that, I have a pro quality lineup. This is a pro team I was running during the year. Like, other than Joe Jimenez as my reliever, that's the only change. I probably had Josh Hader, Devin Williams, something like that.
Right.
But it's a pro quality lineup, and pro has better rewards. So I'm playing fantasy sports. I threw him into that pro lineup, and right now it's not working out the best for me. As for that long term, if it starts to really suck, and say, like, if my limited all-star team starts to push up on the leaderboard a bit and my pro team stays the same, I might make the switch. I mean, maybe going to the next round, you'll see. You will have to see how the rest of this round goes. We could also have Altuve have a 3-homer night
Right.
tonight.
It's and it's hard to
Or
like
yeah,
in my head when you first asked the question, I was thinking like, well, if one lineup is like, let's say 100 points out of a reward going into the final 2 rounds where there's only 4 teams playing, you should probably try it. And your other team, let's say, is 25 points out of a reward and it's all-star. You might want to load up your all-star lineup. But like Jacob was kind of hinting at, it's hard to put a number on it because those are 7-game series. They might actually go to 7 games. You get a couple home runs, a couple 4-for-4, double, a couple RBI nights from an Altuve, from a
Seager.
Schwarber, from a Seager, and they're putting up 50, 60 points in a 7-game series. That limited pro lamp could become competitive. So it's kind of hard to put a number on it, but I think once you get a wider gap and further away from a reward, it makes more sense to load up whatever lineup is closest to getting a reward.
If
Well,
you're
and-
going for the championship chase.
Right.
Right. But to me, like that is the most exciting to me. Like the
Yeah.
rewards that you get from the week to week, even in the playoffs, are still regular cards. We don't know what they look like. We have no clue. But I am very much going for prioritizing the championship above all else. So even if like I would put my best lineup in All-Star if let's say all of my pro players just go get zeros the next round and I'm so far out of any sort of position for a card and my limited all-star is close. Absolutely. I'm putting all my chips in all-star, trying to make that happen. And obviously I think it's going to come down to this next round. Everyone is still going to have no teams will be eliminated for game week 3, but game week 4, when the AL and NLDS, when there's only 4 teams around, I don't even know if I'll have enough limiteds to confidently field 2 full teams. So I might even have to make that decision right then and there as to which I'm going to go for. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Something too you got to take into account is if you can field a full team in the World Series, your position right now doesn't take the full story. It doesn't describe the full story. There have been 4 games played as of tonight. There were 2 wildcard games played for every round because they all got swept, and there have been 2 first-round games for every team as of tomorrow night, I think, is when the second game will be played in the AL. So these scores are in no way indicative of what the final is going to be.
True.
There are people right now who are probably top 100 who have full Orioles stacks. Not Orioles stacks, who have full Rangers stacks, who have full Twin stacks. And if one of those teams gets eliminated, they won't be able to compete at all anymore. Granted, they might have a backup team waiting in their arsenal as well.
Right.
But these scores right now for the championships chase specifically are not indicative at all of what they could be, because it's still technically, I mean, unless you count the wild card round, it's like the weird NCAA tournament where it's like the play-in game round is actually round 1, but then there's round 1, which is round 2. So is this round 1 or is this whatever? The DS, the divisional series going into the next few games. We'll see. But right now I think it's more along the lines of like it matters, but it's not be all end all if your team isn't playing well right now.
Right. Agreed.
True. The other thing, I don't know if you guys saw this, that they announced in soccer, they've been experimenting with some they've been experimenting with some long form formats. And previously this was an all-star, and it was the exact same format as the championship chase. You had your weekly competitions, gave out rewards. You had a week-long leaderboard with cumulative scores. Obviously, what they found is that the people that won the monthly competition did really well in the game weeks and got double rewards essentially. So what they announced for this new 240 is no rewards for the weekly competitions and all the rewards for cumulative. So it's interesting to see, like, in the future with Sorare MLB and maybe even Sorare NBA, if they will go, if there will be rewards for the week, because again, like, I will
You're
probably get, yeah. What are
you're
your
missing a
thoughts?
key factor here. That's soccer, and they're doing long form the own way that they want to do it. The NBA and the MLB are doing this specifically for the postseason. Postseason that exists in the MLB and the NBA doesn't even happen in any soccer league. Nothing like it, unless you include the MLS. Maybe there'll be an MLS championship chase starting in a few weeks. Who knows? I doubt it. But because the MLS is just a league in a so rare sport, whereas the NBA and the MLB are their own so rare sports. And I think that there won't not be weekly rewards. I think this is just a little added incentive for the playoffs. Whereas in soccer, it makes sense that there aren't weekly rewards because, like you said, they're doubling. And that would be every month on month on month on month, end on end for these teams, for these long forms. Whereas if you're winning these double rewards in NBA, or sorry, in MLB postseason, it's only for a month. It's only for the postseason.
Well, and that's the soccer format is a month long.
Right. But then they would just start a new one a month later.
Right.
You don't do that in MLB. You don't do that in NBA.
Yeah. I guess in again, like, listen, if you haven't listened to the Laird interview with the Sorare product manager, what we hear from the Sorare team is that they want to build homogenization across their products. To me, this championship chase is the closest thing we have to football long form competitions. Obviously, it's different. Jacob's right; it's the postseason only, but it is one of those things that, like, for example, I am in 100th place in limited pro, which is about what I'm doing in the overall leaderboard. I'm getting rewarded twice. Obviously, for me, I'm freaking happy. This is awesome. But, like, do I need 2 rewards? Probably not. I'm a whale.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Right.
Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, I really like the idea of monthly long competitions, monthly rewards. I don't love, again, not to mix soccer and baseball. Obviously, it's very different, but I don't love the idea of not having weekly rewards. So if in Solar MLB during a regular season, if they could somehow incorporate a monthly long competition while also maintaining the same sort of reward system in the competitions they currently have now, I would be all for it. The first thing that came to my mind was kind of selecting a team from your teams to be your monthly like team. That way you have to pick 3 people from one, 3 people from another, one from another, however they would do it. And then that lineup would be like the one that accumulates points for the month. So ideally the same people that are winning competitions weekly wouldn't be the exact same ones winning monthly. I don't know how effective that would be in doing so, but I think that'd be an interesting way to kind of have both at the same time. But I'm all for it.
Another thing to mention too is that the long form competitions in soccer are capped. Correct?
True. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Well,
There is
it was in limit or All Star Limited, and now it's in. They're
Right.
rotating which format, so it'd be like a contender and then a
Was
championship for NBA.
All Star was kind of like the beta though, wasn't it? That was like the trial run, or am
Right.
I think they
is that
all
not
are
true?
still betas.
Still kind of
They're
okay.
trying it
Yeah.
out.
Sure.
But either way, it's capped. And you are currently winning as a whale 2 rewards in baseball, but there's no cap. No cap. You have no salary cap. It's just like baseball. You have no cap. You're running Jordan next to Seager, next to Altuve, next to Austin Riley, so on and so
Freddie
forth.
Freeman.
Yeah, exactly. And that if there was a similar scoring cap in baseball, you would not be able to do that for your long form competition. So
Right.
there's you say the word homogenization, but it can't truly be the same. The seasons work differently, the games work differently, the scoring works differently. So there's going to have to be differences between these long form competitions in sports. And like Josh said, I just they would never fully get rid of the weekly or even like game weekly rewards, because I feel like that would upset a very large amount of people. Holy cow. Hung one right down the middle, and the Braves are back. Travis d'Arnaud, I sold him in February of last year because I didn't think I wanted a catcher on my team. Probably sold him for like $4.
Wow.
What do you think he sells for right now?
Probably way too much.
Like $8.
This is the first.
Sells for 98 cents.
Wow.
No.
He's not their starting catcher.
His low is 98 cents.
Which
he's an all-star, man. Former all-star.
Which is
there you go. That's why you don't buy and hold. Just sell. Just sell.
Well, I turned into your NBA pyramid scheme mid-season, was like, you know what? I'm not going to sell anybody this season.
I like that.
I'm building an empire. You guys are building teams. I'm building an empire.
Wow. What's your empire's name?
1-800-EMPIRE today.
Wow. That's original.
It is interesting. It's interesting. It's the Milwaukee Boofers, because all they do is boof in the postseason. 4-3. We have a game.
There you go.
Don't count the Braves out. I'm saying it with the Phillies hat on. Don't count the Braves out. Don't count any teams out. The Orioles still put up 8. Like, that's pretty good.
Don't fact check
count
me
the
on
Dodgers
this.
out.
Don't fact check me on this. And I get there's only been 4 games total at this point. But I don't think there has been a lead change beyond the 7th inning in any of the games so far. So if the Braves put up 2 more runs here, that'd be the first lead change in the postseason past the 7th inning. So, I'm never gonna say,
racking my brain, and I'm like, I think you're right.
I'm never gonna say that the MLB playoffs are boring by any means, but I think these playoffs have kind of lacked like a moment. You know, I feel like there hasn't really been like a big like 8th inning home run to take the lead, walk off kind of thing. So this game could be the one. You never know. The Braves might have that lead change.
Yeah. Let me ask you, the guys, this, bring it back to Sorare. Say your teams get eliminated and you have 5 cards left. Are you going to buy 2 more players to fill out a full team for next round?
I already did.
It depends.
I was bidding on a few players.
I
got myself a decent amount. I got myself finally committed.
You got a pitcher.
I did. And I got him for way under than his floor too, just by bidding. And he's a first owner.
Hopefully it wasn't.
Oh no, you might have not seen the pitcher I got yesterday.
No, I just looked at your gallery.
Yeah, so I got 2 pitchers. I got Nathan Eovaldi. I got 2 Texas boys. And yesterday's loser, Fromber. I finally picked myself up a Fromber. I've been meaning to do so all season. He's been hovering around that, like, I want to say $12 to $15 range. And his price started going up for the postseason. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna bid on one. I put down I want to say $22 bid, and it's a new card. First owner, get that percentage bonus, get that collection bonus eventually. But my max bid worked out, and I got him for $15. So I actually got him,
way
for
less.
pretty much what he was selling during the season. And if it weren't for like the Astros kind of dwindling a bit in September, if they're going to make the postseason or not, he was actually selling for a little bit more than that, like mid-season, if you look at his graphs. So we'll take it. But yeah, I also got, for real cheap, a Jake McCarthy and Alec Thomas, excuse me. because they start they start, they will play. Alec Thomas hit a home run yesterday, 2 days ago, against the Dodgers. So they're, if anything, if they make it to the next season, the next week,
The next
the
season.
next round, hopefully they make it to the next season. God, if they make it to the next round, first and foremost, their Sorare price will go up, but then also they'll play and they'll be fillers for my team.
Yep.
Bringing it full circle, that full championship chase team will be there with these players that I'm hopefully sniping. Now, granted, I brought Astros who lost last night, and I brought 2 Diamondbacks who are playing the Dodgers. So maybe I'll just end up having to save them for next year because they'll all lose anyways.
I don't know if you know this, but Jake McCarthy has not been playing at all. Just a heads up.
I know.
Yeah.
I also got him
But-
for way under. I think I paid like $1.75.
He could be one of those guys that could fill out your lineup and get a pinch hit, a pinch run, and even get you a couple points. That would be helpful, especially in these later rounds. Like you said, if they make it beyond this round. I
Travis
actually
Darno?
Yeah, exactly. I actually needed, man, this is gonna sound funny considering how this year went for me in terms of winning relief pitchers. The one position I needed limited wise was a relief pitcher. I think I have 5 limited relief pitchers right now, and none of them made it to the next round. So I picked up a Evan Phillips from the Dodgers, who's been their closer this year. So
yeah, and then watch the Dodgers. See,
and now they get swept and lose by 10 runs every game.
So, okay, not hypothetically then, straight up.
Straight up.
Are you guys buying more cards for the new rounds?
It depends.
See,
No,
I
bad
just
answer.
I think it's
Bad
I think
answer.
it's too early. It's too early.
Okay.
I will if
Okay.
once the lineups or the matchups are set. I think if you're buying now, I mean personally that's too big of a risk for me. Especially if you have a set amount of budget. But if you're taking the vantage point of like, I have this money set aside, I'm going to spend 30% of it now on 4 guys. And if those 4 guys all go away and then I'll use them for next year, like that's fantastic. But again, like if your budget is tight, which mine is right now, obviously I think I would want to wait until the matchups are actually set because I don't think there's a huge jump. Obviously for those Jordan, if the Astros make it, their best players will probably appreciate, but you can probably get their 7th, 8th hitter with, I don't think everyone on the team appreciates by 50% when they make that next round. So I would prefer to wait and maybe I pay a little bit more, but to me, that's better than taking the risk that they never make it entirely.
Sure. You answered my question. I was going to say, so you'd rather take a little bit of the hit financially and guarantee yourself that player. Whereas maybe right now buying a Philly, they're winning and they're up 1-0 in the series. You never know. The Braves could come back. They could score 2 next inning, win the game, and all of a sudden it's 1-1 and never look back. So
yeah,
you think from your perspective, you're saying wait. And I don't really think there's a wrong answer to this question unless you have unlimited budget. Because if you have unlimited budget, just save it until you see the rounds are complete.
right.
But if you have a set budget, buy someone now, maybe get them for a little bit cheaper. If not, you can use them next year. Save it. Maybe only get 1 player instead of 2. Buy them a week from now when the lineups are set, when the matchups are set.
Yeah.
I think either way, yeah.
I always had a weird hurdle in my head to get over. That these cards right now, I always look back and think, man, I could have bought this card for $2 in July and now I'm paying $6 for it. I always thought that was such a bad thing, but thinking about it more so now, like it is worth it, especially if you can use that card to get rewards and you are confident that that card will be usable next year. going for a younger guy on a better team like an Alec Thomas is a good idea
Yeah.
because
Evan
worst
Phillips,
comes to
yeah.
worst, you just use him next year.
Yeah.
So you can be calculated. I don't know, like maybe if you needed to fill out your lineup, you might go for like an Evan Longoria, who's older and will most likely be cheaper, and you don't really know what's going to happen with him next year. But you might want to spend up a little bit, even if it's more than what they were in the regular season, because you can use them next year, and hopefully, he can help you the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Good point.
Longoria is selling for 114.
There you go.
Wow.
In fact, his rare card is selling for 390.
There you go. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, really, to me, the one team, and I'm totally gonna jinx them now, that has pretty much looked unbeatable is the Texas Rangers. I know their bullpen is shaky, and they ended up giving up 9 runs or whatever it was to the Orioles, but they look like they're that team this playoffs. So maybe a Ranger or two would be a safe bet, but again, you never know.
Yeah. Comebacks happen.
They do. They definitely do. Unless you're the Brewers.
Rip.
Or any wild card team.
Yeah, true.
This is true. Well,
Well, yeah. That's baseball, baby.
that's baseball.
Kevin Pillar's back in for the Braves. He's a good immaculate grid player.
Yes, he
But
is.
I guess before we get to our little fun section, I think we have to talk about not baseball.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Whoa.
We have to talk the not baseball association, boys.
That's good.
I
That
like
was
it.
good. That was good. On the fly.
Yeah. Because 2 weeks from now, if you pull up Sorare, someone, or maybe I can just do it.
I'll do it. I have it up already.
Okay. You gotta share your screen now.
Well, tease.
Oh, he's
what's coming up.
pre-jacked on the pickle. Love when you pre-jack your
Oh.
pickle. Whoa,
Okay.
14 days and 14
Ooh.
hours, and it's almost 14 minutes. Whoa.
Whoa.
You should get 14, 14, 14, 14.
We should have waited
right, we
2
gotta-
minutes from now. You have to talk
but
for
we
2
got it.
minutes about
yeah,
basketball.
we can do it. Look, Charlotte Hornets player Paulo Banchero next to Svi. I can't even say his name.
Mikhail.
But you have to get like
Nick Claxton was the most used player.
dude. I used him all
Yep.
the time in my common team, all
Almost.
the time. NBA so rare. 2 weeks, boys. We excited? It's like
Yes,
we're at
sir.
such a weird time. I texted Andrew. I texted both you guys a week ago. And was like, there's too many sports on today.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
There's soccer,
seriously.
Champions League. There's baseball, playoffs. There's basketball's coming up in 2 weeks. There's NFL.
Hockey starts tomorrow.
Hockey literally starts tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is a crazy time.
The Wild have looked good in the preseason, which means they're gonna be ass this year. But look at the Vikings. It's gonna be that season for Minnesota sports. Maybe the Twins will break through. You guys excited?
Heck yeah, man.
Or are we still in baseball mode?
I'm slightly less in baseball mode because I'm a homer and the Brewers got knocked out. Don't get me wrong, I love the playoffs. I'll still watch the games unless it's Dodgers Astros World Series.
You mean
but-
when? You mean when?
When,
okay,
yeah.
okay, all right. But I'm super excited for not only for NBA on So Rare, but just NBA in general. Again, being a homer here, the Bucks.
Oh.
6,
Oh.
5.
Oh. Okay. That was
14,
great.
14, 14.
All right, back to baseball.
But the Bucks, man, they got Damian Lillard, so hopefully he shows out, and the Bucks are the best.
All right, quick over under. What is a Damian Lillard limited card selling for? Over under $40.
I would probably guess
Under.
over.
Dame. Damian Lillard is currently selling for 0.042, which is $67.
Wow.
Dang. Wow.
So
That sucks
I
because I
think,
want to buy one.
yeah, I think
That is
obviously there's a lot of hype
Yeah.
around the team.
It's
I was
preseason. It's
going-
preseason price, so it's not really the best
Yeah.
indicative.
But Josh, if you scroll down, I was looking at
Jamal Murray, who's I was 30. I was like, okay, well, if he's 30, then Dame is going to be. But
Similar, yeah.
so I think this is the time of year where modes can really be exploited. So far, so like than any part of it, because the average, like all these averages that we're seeing for these players, were set last year,
Right.
and stuff changes. We were just talking about the trade with Damian Lillard to the Bucks. All sorts of Drew's on the Celtics now. All sorts of people have been moving around, and they move, but their average is going to stay the same. So I think there's going to be a lot of players where they might have, it will definitely go both ways. If you go to Dame, like I'm curious what his L10 average is. He might, with now that he's with Giannis, I don't know if his average will go up or it will go down. I don't know.
It's 53, right around what Jamal
yeah.
Murray's was.
Yeah. So
obviously, I think a lot of people bought him thinking that he'll put up some monster games with Giannis, which again I think that's possible because of how NBA scores assists, and Giannis can go go dunk and kind of lead the team, and he can be the sharpshooter that the Bucks need. So I think they can both work well together. But I would say as you're kind of looking for Sorare MLB or Sorare NBA to start looking at players that were traded, looking at young players coming into the league. The only thing with them is they probably won't have cards. So I think trades are probably the best place to start, because for that first game week, they're going to have their old season L10 and hopefully put up a big number with their new team and new environment, maybe new coach.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, Drew Holiday, and we'll definitely talk. I think a good idea, don't steal it, listeners, for a first thing of content here. I should just be saying this off camera, but can be trades that happen. We can build a team of traded players. To look out for, because you mentioned Drew Holiday, and it's not like he went to a bad team. He went to the Celtics. Celtics have a potential to be better than the Bucks this year.
Oh yeah.
And granted he's 36 now.
36, 37.
Yeah, so he's a little bit older, but even if you get his card, no, Drew's also 33.
I just
So he's
realized
the same age as
something.
Dame. He's the same age as Dame.
No kidding.
So like you'll get his card usable for long, a decent, like a few years at least. Like that's looking at the traded players, man.
Oh,
What?
Forgot that I had Drew limited.
You do. Let's go. I think I do.
Why are you
too.
disappointed?
Because he's not on the Bucks. I'll just buy Damian instead.
True.
I'll trade Drew for
I think
Damian.
I do
Lillard.
too.
The other PSA I'll give.
Definitely collections will matter a ton. So even though Drew is now on the Celtics, he's going to still count
Bucks
for Josh's
jersey.
Bucks collection. So it's always the year minted, not where they're currently playing, just like how they're doing it in football. Again, product monetization. So
It'll be, I think,
collections will matter a ton in basketball, given the cap structure. It's going to be an extra way to kind of differentiate yourself, especially if everyone's going off the same point total to start with. I think building out some collections where maybe I think it'll. Now that I'm thinking aloud, this is the first thought. I think the collection matters the most with your player that you're using consistently as your captain in championship. So that player who you're using week in, week out is probably going to be the one you want to build a solid collection around. So for me, that's Giannis. So reminder to myself to go out and buy some bucks. Because again, the bench player is the same point collection score as Drew and Brooke Lopez. So that's a nice thing. And so I think getting out early with collections in NBA will really set you apart too.
It's a good point. That's a good point.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, Andrew, your audio is being like a little bit weird for the last 2 minutes. Nosh, I don't know. Was that the same?
Yeah, it kind of sounded
For
like
you.
you were underwater a little bit.
I think it'll be fine for the recording though. But yeah, I think that's some good. Like that's a good point to make. Is that NBA is the last, essentially, to get the collections. Sure, MLB, it's kind of been like, but it's been announced. So MLB is the
Right.
last one to really like have it be tried out, and it's something that people aren't going to be as used to or ready for, I guess. Maybe they will be. I don't know. Maybe we should be assuming that our competition has the same mindset that we do, because otherwise we're not listening to Econ 101 professor like we should have been. But yeah, I know I have a Drew, I have Giannis, I have Bobby, I have Lopez, I have Beauchamp. Like, that Bucks collection score is going to be all right for me to start the season. It's something definitely to consider. I have a couple of Hornets there too.
For sure.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's a good little call there. But now I guess back to baseball, huh?
But yeah, just a quick thing, like we'll always be a baseball podcast at the core. But we will definitely be transitioning to a lot more NBA stuff coming up in the next couple weeks. Obviously, this is the best and biggest time for baseball, so of course we'll still be covering all that good stuff. But we'll also be sprinkling in some NBA stuff, and then once baseball ends, NBA is in full swing. Expect a lot more NBA stuff. I know I'm gonna put in some work to get better on my NBA knowledge, and I assume you guys will too.
Oh baby, I've
Ball
been
knowledge.
listening to some NBA podcasts.
Ball
Been
knowledge,
watching
as the cool
those
kids say.
number one pick Victor, but when Banyama
Wembanyama.
flexes after crossing up Chet Holmgren. Oh my God, Chet versus
Wow,
Wemby.
the young guns.
How much you think Wemby Unique's going to sell for? Let's give it right
Ooh,
here before we end today's podcast. What's Wemby's Unique going to sell for? Over on, let's see.
a lot.
Okay, a lot. What did Paolo's?
I know. I need a baseline here.
What did Paolo's Unique sell for?
It's a good question. I'm pulling it up now in Sorare data. It sold for 14,000 US dollars.
I was gonna say 20 grand for Wemby. He's so hyped. If you are paying attention in the fungible world, every single one of his cards, even like the base rookie cards that were perforated into Sports Illustrated for kids, are selling.
Yeah.
I
think that would be a huge disappointment if he
Wemby
sold for 20K.
Yeah.
Giannis sold for nearly 200K.
So you think that he's gonna go for a lot, because Paolo's selling for 14.
That seems really low.
I don't
Because
know.
Paulo was very hyped too. Maybe not quite on the level of Wembanyama, but Paulo was very, very hyped.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
It's the rookie. It's the rookie edition. Giannis
Yeah.
wasn't even a rookie edition.
True.
That's true.
So
That's true.
But Giannis was probably the most valuable player for Sorare MLB.
Mhm.
And I think Wembanyama probably could be pretty valuable for your Sorare. He'll have lots of utility too.
For sure. For sure.
I mean,
I don't know.
he'll be.
We'll be
some
on the
rebounds,
watch.
that's for sure. Rebounds are 2 points, man.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
He's got them long arms.
Yeah.
Is he taller than the net?
Ooh. That's
No,
actually-
that would be like 9 feet tall.
I mean, how
Hey.
tall is he?
He could probably touch the rim without. You think?
What is he? He's over 7, right? 7'1" or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's 7'4".
Yep.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
That is
That
very
is
tall.
so tall. All right. So MLB pickle,
Let's do
but
it.
we can only guess teams that are still
Active playoff
like
teams.
it.
that are
I
still
like
alive until the last guess. All right.
I feel like Travis Denard.
Yeah, we got to do it.
Travis
Travis
Darno.
Denard.
Darno.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. All right.
It's
So
not the
NL
NL East, so it's not the Phillies either.
could be
Orioles?
AL East, yeah. Yeah. Could be Gunner.
Yeah, let's do it. Is he a lefty?
Gunner's
Mhm,
not a
mhm.
right-handed bat.
Oh, I wasn't even looking at hand. I wasn't even looking at batting hand. Totally forgot. I was do like
Cedric Mullins?
he's also a
Lefty.
lefty. Do
Oh,
like
dang.
Mountcastle or someone.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay,
Okay,
well,
so it's a
what is it?
National League. Well,
Yeah.
It could be Diamondbacks, Dodgers.
if it's
Okay.
the
If it's
Central,
the
we're
Central,
screwed.
we're screwed.
Yep.
So
It's gonna be a
let's-
Brewer. It's gonna be a Brewer.
Yeah, all right.
And
Let's
they're
Okay, they're not
younger.
American. They're not American too.
They're not
boys.
American. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So let's go with how about a pitcher? Let's go with
Um,
uh
All the pitchers I can think about, man.
Bruzdar Gratterol, who I'm using for my relief pitcher.
If you
in
asked me to
my-
spell that, I
Oh
would not
no, it's an NL Central player.
be able- Okay, well,
All right,
we can at least get
let's get the country.
and the position too. Are they a
Yeah,
starting
relief
pitcher?
let's
pitcher?
go with starter. Let's go with Kershaw.
Oh,
Wait, no, he's younger.
We can get the age.
He's younger.
USA
Okay, true.
too.
Let's go with Zach Allen.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, but he's USA. Well, no, let's go for age first.
That's all right.
Let's go for age
That's all right.
first.
And pitch, and we can get position down.
Okay, so
Okay,
Okay,
he's a
he's a
pitcher.
pitcher.
Oh, okay.
That's huge.
and he's 27.
27. Gotta be. Wait,
Why
How
are
is he-
these?
Is it Freddie?
what?
Is it Freddie Peralta? You can't guess that
Let's
yet.
guess another Dominican. Well, can we guess
Is it-
Jordan?
I was gonna say Jordan. Is it Lourdes Gurriel?
Your donger. Cuba.
Yeah,
Get Cuba out of the way.
Sure.
let's try Cuban.
Nope. Yeah, say Gurriel.
For a Dominican.
Mhm.
Is he from?
No, Lourdes. Oh, he's also from Cuba. Okay.
I was to say they're brothers, so I would assume they're from the same place.
All right.
Where
Um,
is Maldonado from?
Try it.
Yeah, he's from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Oh, yeah, Puerto Rico's not a bad guess either.
Yeah, there we go. It's
Okay.
probably Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Okay. How about
Who else?
how about Jesus Alvarado? He's from
Yeah.
the Dominican Republic. No, he's from Venezuela, isn't he? No, he's from Venezuela. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Wait,
Are we
Altuve.
okay?
Altuve?
Altuve is from Venezuela.
No.
Yeah, he is.
Pina. Pina?
Andy
Yermi
Pina?
Pina?
He's
Yermi
not.
Pina.
What?
Yermi
Oh,
Pina.
Yermi Pino. Pino. Oh yeah,
Jeremy
Jeremy
Pena.
Pena.
Yeah, see, I know my people. I know my people.
Okay.
Okay, it's Dominican. That
Okay.
you didn't believe it. Austin Riley
Yep. Yes, sir. He's
Has
on my Sorare
put
lineup.
the Braves in front.
Hey, the first
I
lead change.
told you.
The first lead change.
I told you. Do not count them out.
Are you
Do
are you
not
cursing the
count
Phillies right
them
now?
Out. I've been cursing the Phillies since last year.
It's true. All Philly sports actually.
That's good for your lineup too.
It is.
Austin
It is.
Riley.
It is.
There you go.
And I think
Fill me
I
up,
started
Buttercup.
Iglesias in my comment. Maybe he'll come in for the save.
All right, a 26-year-old starting pitcher from the Dominican Republic.
Can we get anything else? Maybe the age? I mean, well, yeah, we know the age.
No, this is,
27.
I guess. How many guesses do we have left? 2?
Just 2.
Well, just send someone. Throw a little Austin Riley in there.
Yeah, Austin Riley for funsies.
Should we
It's about on
say?
28, 27,
Oh,
26.
26.
Let's see. It could be Freddie. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Freddie.
Oh, he's 27. He's 27.
No, that's
No,
perfect.
that's the
perfect.
age.
Oh,
That's perfect. Yeah, let's send it.
Let's go.
Wow, we are so good at this. Let's go.
That's 2 in a row, baby.
2 in a row
Wow.
like that.
We
And
are.
that's
we
2
should
in a
be
row that we
competitive.
got way before.
Yeah.
What?
We were hinting
Go
Freddie
back.
like
Go back. Yeah. When did I first say Freddie? Was it after guess like 3?
yeah, I was say 3 or
maybe I'm hyping
4.
myself
Yeah,
up.
Yeah. No, it
Boys,
was
we haven't
pretty
even
good, Jacob.
checked.
Pretty good.
We haven't even checked the score of the Packers game. Maybe you guys.
It
have.
is 3-0.
Cool.
I have it on right
who do you
here.
think is winning?
I just
Not that it really.
It's the Packers.
It's been like
Um,
the most just boring. Bad football.
Phillies Braves way more. exciting.
Nobody's come up with a big hit. We
I
haven't
told
had the
you.
moment yet.
I told you.
Austin Riley. Bang. Puts the
I
Phillies
told you.
down in the dumps. Of course. These series.
With
Wait.
that
go
hit,
to
I'm now into
Philadelphia,
225th place in the
Hey
All Star.
Wait, I did not. Quick before we ended here,
Yeah.
I need to shout out one of the greatest postseason performances we've ever seen. From our boy Clayton Kershaw
Oh,
with a
yes,
minus
yes.
15.
Wait.
Yes.
In fact, here, I have the screenshot from the other day when it was even worse. So your team, as of this was Saturday at 10 p.m. Here, I can try and get the camera to focus. But your team
Wow.
had scored, and this is with Alex Bregman scoring a solid 9.5 points. Nash had minus 9.3 and was in 20,047th out of 20,184.
Who also
You had-
probably were starting Clayton Kershaw. It
And
had to be
and
all
the
the Kershaw.
only reason you were there is because you had Bregman. If you would have had someone else who had struck out, you might have been in last possible place because this minus 9.3 with a player that is scoring more than 9.3.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
He honestly shouldn't even get credit for an inning pitched because he didn't even finish the inning. He got 1 out.
Oh, what? Well, no.
No,
You
he
get- you
didn't.
get-
He
yeah,
didn't.
no,
He got 1.
Because it's 3 points for innings
Yeah,
pitched.
he
So he
didn't
got
get
the
credit.
1 point
Oh,
for the
you're
1
right.
out.
Yeah.
You're right.
So he
You're
did
right,
get the
you're
credit, but not
You're right.
all the credit.
The
Yeah.
credit he deserved, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Brutal.
Oh, man.
Good stuff,
Oh.
man.
Will the Braves hold it out? I don't know. Will the Orioles just get swept and be done after being the second best team in baseball? I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Thanks again for listening. We appreciate all your support as always. Don't forget to check out the social medias. Be sure to check us out, ask us questions. We'll
Wow.
answer, we promise.
Questions.
Yes, concerns, good things, bad things, good, bad, ugly.
Life advice.
Life advice. Yes, we're very good at that for sure. And as always, you just attended batting practice. Now you're ready to get in the game. Peace.
Just drag it out.
Record.